your seats. So we have an additional case for you, which is quite interesting case. I think I have an answer to that, but I'm not sure. So I will read it out. There was a person, let's say his name is Mark, who was a worshipper of a specific religion. Mark attended Mass in the church every week and accepted all sacraments. The church was in possession of Mark's personal data in its books and records, as Mark's parents and then Mark himself provided such data to the church when he received the sacrament. However, Mark has never provided any formal consent to the church for processing his personal data. Mark regularly updated his personal data in the church and also provided the church with the personal data of his juvenile children. What is the legal ground for the church to process the personal data of Mark and his children? What is the legitimate purpose in which the church can process personal data of Mark and his children? Should the church inform Mark on the scope and purpose of processing his personal data? Someday Mark has lost his faith and decided to abandon his worship. He wrote the act of apostasy to the church and requested the church that his personal data and personal data of his children are deleted and forgotten. He informed the church that his decision to abandon the faith is final and irrevocable, so he expects that all his personal data are deleted, including the data on all his sacraments. Is the church obliged to follow Mark's request? What the church is obliged to do with the personal data of Mark's children?
So this is the case about the legal basis of processing of the personal data. This is the first part, and the second part is the right of erasure, erasure of the personal data.
And another important thing, I suppose that in all member states we have a church or a Christian advocate, like a specific kind of legal profession. In the
I know in Poland, yes, but
in every country which have an agreement with Vatican.
Vatican.
What?
With Vatican, I wanted to say.
With Vatican, yeah. So
we have agreement with the Vatican, but and also we have the church court where they are annulling the marriage, but there is no advocate.
really, not specific kind of.
No, the state don't provide advocates and they don't educate.
Really.
If someone in Latvia, if someone wants to go to the Catholic Church, to the court, he must obtain his education in Vatican by himself. In Latvia, we don't provide this.
Okay. I learned something more. Thank you very much.
I know that our priests are going to Poland, universities, to get this education.
Okay. Okay, so having this in mind, what do you think? First,
about the legal basis.
First thing that we would like to ask, we should ask, and which Catholics and priests ask, is GDPR applicable to church at all? Because in our previous act from 1997, church was exempted from processing of personal data. Therefore, our Polish Catholic Church were very first they were nervous, then they were furious over GDPR because I suppose that they have the best records of our personal data.
This is the first big data company.
And they even tried to push our government, which is very open-minded to the church, to be exempted from GDPR, but you know they couldn't do it. So here we are. So GDPR is applicable to all churches and faiths and specific religions. So we have these legal grounds. We have the let's say, what are the legal grounds for this situation? What do you think? Constant?
Because usually going to church is made informal. Right? There is no right readings. Yes, yes. Usually the first sacrament in the Catholic Church is
Baptism, yes.
Baptism, yeah.
But it is formal. They have this set of rules, so probably this organization had some set of rules too.
Yeah, but you can't like sign an agreement because you don't have your own will at this time. So
Okay, it's doubtful.
yeah. So let's say
So
that.
do you think it is an agreement between a
So
worshipper and the
first,
church for religious service?
Excuse me.
So do you think it's a kind of agreement between a worshipper and the church for religious service?
I think it's an organization like when that you enter and you accept those set of rules. So it's not an agreement, it's like something that you accept when you decide to become a worshiper. Formal worshiper. You can be informal worshiper. You don't get your sacraments that you don't have.
Okay.
But
It's interesting.
if you
Okay.
accept the sacraments, you accept the set of rules.
Okay. So agreement.
It's like in Catholic Church,
So agreement.
some sort of.
Belonging to the organization.
Well, yes.
Some ideas.
I think there will be church rules.
Yes, but what grounds when it comes to GDPR should be applicable? And what is that?
I'd say in a church case it would be a law, church laws.
Interesting approach.
So do you think that that GDPR is not applicable to church?
No, it is, but
legal
they
grounds
have their
would be,
internal rules, and
okay.
if you are the member of the church and they are processing your data, they are processing this on these grounds of based on these rules.
Interesting approach.
Because
Actually,
the church and the state is separated, so they are not applies state rules cannot how to say organize inside of church, so they have their own.
We were discussing these GDPR questions to Catholic Church, so we were wondering if you can ask if you can be erased from your data about baptism and stuff like that. So we found out that there were rules that some things, like their books, are kept for indefinite period of time.
We'll get to that.
I think in a way it's also kind of a like public function. For example, if we're talking about Catholic Church, right? At least in Lithuania, the law says that we recognize the marriage. So this is the same civil state act as the state registers marriage, right? So this is public function. So this is the ground, because you cannot delete your like vital records like birth, marriage, death, right? So you can look at this for this, because this is all like providing public functions.
Yeah, and the state laws, but it goes only for marriage, not for
Yeah,
not for
but it's used for that one.
birth or.
So legal basis would be
If they can.
legal act, church act. Okay, I accept it. I accept it. Okay, so we have the first.
And there is
question.
also, please note that in Article 9, because belonging to the church is also a sensitive data. This is information about religion. And in Article 9, which which is a regulation regarding the sensitive data in paragraph 2, there is a letter D, where as a legal ground for the processing of the sensitive data regarding the religion is participation to religious association. So the question is whether the church is a religious association. So this is some other legal ground, potential legal ground for the church, if we will consider the church as a religious association,
Which we are.
which we are.
Okay, so we have this one. So I would say that first two questions are answered. And should the church inform Mark on the scope and purpose of processing his personal data? Third question. Easier
I
one,
think
I
it's
suppose.
least they can do when it comes to GDPR.
Yeah. Did anyone receive any informational note in processing their data from church? I didn't.
Maybe they have it on their website.
No, they don't. They don't.
I know, we checked too.
They don't have it in the church. They don't have it on the website. But yeah, okay. When it comes to my church, yeah, it doesn't work like that, unfortunately. Okay, so
But basically, I think they should do that.
they should do that. They should do that.
I know at least one who has done it because I had made a privacy policy for a church, but I think it's not like Catholic or something. I'm not quite sure because like Estonia is not that religious. It was not an Estonian association, but it was also active in Estonia, and they wanted in Estonia to have a privacy policy, and it was quite a challenge, I have to admit.
Wow. Like the first person that
We have it in English.
who I heard of do that in practice. To be honest, I haven't found anyone else. Okay, so thank you very much. The next thing, apostasy and right to be erased, right to be forgotten. How about that? Is the church obliged to follow Mark's request? And what should they do with personal data of Mark's children? So we have Article 17. Are there any exemptions, maybe?
Any ideas? So I think that if we will consider the church as a religious organization, quit of this organization will cease to exist the purpose of processing personal data of such person. If I'm not longer in the organization shouldn't have the right to process my data anymore, right?
But
But
I think you were mentioning the situation where the books in church were kept
indefinite.
and I found out.
And I was thinking just about that. I was trying to find some argument inside. They should delete everything, but something that in their main books, let's say, it's also just like the sacraments and stuff like that. I think they have some rule about it to keep those things for indefinite period of time, but not to declare it to a third party or anybody, or just to process it in any way, but as a number.
Yes, I found out
Something
that
like that.
when it comes to let's say legal stuff and church, when it comes to apostasy, sorry, they basically left information about sacraments, the basic sacraments, and the information that this person was like decided for an act of apostasy,
Yes.
which is irrevocable. So when once being apostatized, right? Maybe. So he cannot like come back to the church.
So you have to have.
You have to have it
Document.
proved and record that
Yes.
this person was is apostatized. Therefore, there are two exemptions that I was thinking about. So then letter C or D. Sorry, D or E. So the first one is to establish exercising the defense of legal claims, which this person could possibly have against the church when it comes to this apostasy. And of course also the church would be, let's say, to have it proof that this person was apostatized. And another one is maybe archiving purposes for the public interest. I mean, when we
So
could
you'll get.
talk about it. Of course, we can all when we describe the legal regulations of Catholic Church as like law, so the Vatican may have some rules, and we under some bilateral agreement understood these rules, and we follow them to a certain extent of obligation. We can also think about for the compliance with the legal obligation. So this letter B, but this one is tricky. I would say that this one is tricky.
In case of Catholic Church, it
Yeah.
can be.
I would say that maybe not in this decade, maybe even not in the other, but maybe CGAO will have some interesting case in this matter. I would hope to see some opinion on this issue, preferably by our Advocate General Szpunar, who have quite interesting opinions on the matter of interpretation. Okay.
I think that such doubts will not arise in the case of some other church than Catholic Church. If there will be some smaller church which was established just by the people, it will be considered just like some organization with participants. These issues can arise as regards Catholic Church, or maybe some other churches which have a special position, which have special law and privileges, so they maybe have other legal grounds for processing the personal data, especially where they are involved in authority tasks, for example, marriages. Right? So this is the specific feature of the Catholic Church, and in other countries maybe some other churches, but if it will be some small organization just established by some people who just establish a church and are just participants in the church, it will be considered just normal organization of religious character, and resignation of being in such organization will cause the obligation of this church to delete this personal data.
Okay, so what's with the personal data of children?
If children are under 16 or or I don't know in Polish, is this stated that under 13?
30.
13? Then if children are under 13, he might ask to delete, but again, we have to see what church says, because I don't know, I haven't studied canonical law, but do church look at children as an individual, or still there is a parent who must act in the name of children?
Okay, but children is not providing the InfoSoc services. The church is not providing. I suppose that church is not providing the services mentioned in GDPR. So we don't have this special regime for protection of children. The children are protected in special regime in GDPR when it comes to information society services like Facebook, like any other social media. But but church is not processing the data in this to this
So,
aim.
Okay, if it will be a different case, not church and not this social media, what about other situations?
Yeah, well, I think we should think of these children as a, let's say, natural person, data subject. Of course, data subject which is not able to give consent, which is not able to draft, to conclude a contract or agreement. So therefore, we have a situation of a legal guardian who decides for the children. Therefore, I think they should erase as much as their laws say. Yes.
I have a question. In Estonia, it's if you are 15 or older, you can decide by yourself if you want to be a member or not of the church. So does it also apply to the erasure of data? Like if the child is 15 or older, that the child can decide whether he or she wants the data erased or not?
I think that we don't have special regulation on this kind of thing when it comes to children. So to the church. So I think that when a person is starts to be liable and can be liable for his own acts. So he may give his consent. He might give his own will, like legally binding will. This is the same situation as with the church. So when you're old enough to be a part of to be a party of an agreement, any type of agreement, like company agreement, then you can also give yourself or exempt from a church.
But that's the problem. Usually it's 18 in Estonia, but like in
For
churches, it's like it's said in the law that it's 15 years old. You can decide if you want to be a member. Before 15, you have to have the permission of your legal guardian. So basically, the 3 years, I wouldn't say that it's clear whether the children can decide over the erasure of the data, or whether the
Let's
parent
say
can.
this children is 8 years old. So he
8,
can,
then it's easier.
yeah.
But like what happens, okay, like let's say church erases the data.
Mhm.
Then a child grows up, decides to become a member of that church, right? He comes, there's no data about him.
I would say that they
he
should store and process data of the sacraments. So basically, I would say that they wouldn't erase anything on the grounds or their legitimate interest. I would say so.
If we go that far, that erase the sacraments, for example, then a person can get baptized like twice. What is like
Yes.
from religious
Yes.
point of view not correct?
Yes, that's true. That's true. Then I would say that for the legal grounds for such processing would be members of the church.
Does anyone know what it's like in Catholic Church? Okay, your parents can definitely baptize you, but can they decide for a child to leave the church?
Yes.
Really?
They can just not baptize you.
No, but once you were baptized,
Mhm.
can they decide when you're like 15, they decide to leave the Catholic Church?
Oh.
Can they
in that
make the
case.
same decision for the
Okay.
child,
I'm not
or
sure.
the church wants the child to be
I'm not sure.
18 years old?
I'm not sure.
I think
That
if
was,
I were writing
my
rules
concern.
for the church, I wouldn't allow this.
Yeah, probably not. Probably you're right. You both are right, probably. Dependent on
I don't
experience.
know.
So. Okay, let's start with the last.
Can I ask one question regarding this church thing?
Yes, please.
Can the administrative fines be imposed to church in Poland or in other member states?
Yeah. I mean, the supervisory authority on the
Yeah.
protection.
Because
Yes.
in Finland they can't be imposed for the church.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, interesting. In Poland, we have a situation where administrative fines are lowered to the public bodies. So the administrative fine is lowered from 20 million or 4% of annual and stuff like that, up to 25,000 euros for public bodies, which is, you know, like
It's like for institution or officials?
for institutions. For institutions,
For
officials.
officials,
Like-
not like a person who is working in an institution.
No, person of course working in institutions, as I've said at our first workshop session, could not be fined under GDPR.
Okay.
The natural person who is not an data controller, but is an an employee of institution of public body, could be of course liable, but under civil law and under employment law, and under of course administrative law and public law of member state.